So, Samsung have some pretty interesting things going on. They have their new line of foldable devices. Now, this is quite exciting, even though the foldable devices from Samsung have been kind of questionable. Um, and by questionable, I mean they literally have been weak. Now, if most of you have seen about the Z Flip anyway, you will have seen that the biggest flaw with the Z Flip was the fact that the screen creased. Now, I don't think it was the actual screen that creased, but the plastic protector on top creased. But there was nothing you could do about it. Now, most people could live with that. I definitely could live with that. It wouldn't bother me. I've lived with cracks on screens that have basically looked even worse than that, and they've near enough been very unusable on the phone. But I've gotten through it, and I've been able to use a phone because it's just easier to use with getting a screen replacement. But these, I don't think you can get a screen replacement as easy. I think they have to replace the device instead of doing a screen replacement, which fair enough. But the new Flip series or foldable series looks very promising for Samsung. And maybe this will spur other companies to make foldable devices like OnePlus and maybe Apple in the future. Although I don't think Apple can be really bothered about making foldable phones because they would have probably jumped in. Maybe they don't really see a need for foldable devices because most people who buy an iPhone these days really don't care about anything other than the fact the phone has iMessage and, well, FaceTime, because that's literally the only thing an iPhone user talks about. But yeah, the Z Flip 3 is, well, looks very good. Now, the thing I like about the Z Flip 3 for a starter is the fact on the top, just near the camera, it has a little mini display. Now I know the Z Flip 2 had this display as well. However, it didn't really look big and it didn't show as much information. Now, I'm not entirely sure what actually shows on here. From this photo here, it looks like it shows the time, the battery percent, and the date. I'm guessing you can flash up notifications. It'll tell you how many notifications you have, which is a very cool thing, and it's very good that you actually know your percent. Now, I'm not too sure how much battery this will take up. Will it be like an always-on display, which pretty much uses no battery? Will it just flash up every now and again? I have no idea how well it's going to work within that sense. I'm not too sure if it's going to kill battery. I think it's got a 3,300 milliamp battery included in the phone, which I mean isn't really big, but hopefully it does last quite a while, even though you are kind of sacrificing a little bit of battery. Most phones now, you really want to be aiming, especially Android phones, you kind of want to be aiming around the 4,000 milliamp battery, or close enough 5,000 milliamp hours for better battery life, because Android does use considerably quite a huge amount of battery than iOS does. Now, the price comes in at in the UK it's £949. In the USA it's $999. In Europe it's going to be about 1,049 euros. In Australia it's going to be 1,499. Which, I mean, they're pretty respectable prices for a phone like that. So this is a little article thing from Tech Reviews. Take away the Z Flip 3's foldable skills, and it becomes a bog standard Samsung phone with a little little to get excited about. As much as you really do need to appreciate the flip styling and the clever hinged design to make the most of this phone. So the key features, obviously, as a larger screen and much more useful. Yes, you can like pretty much take photographs with like you don't really need a stand anymore for your phone. You know, you want to get a photo of something, but you can't really stand your phone up or position it in the correct thing, or sometimes your hand may be a bit too shaky. Now you can kind of bend your phone up and put it in like a L shape to pry your phone up, which is kind of cool. I mean, I know you could do that with the other Z Flips, but hopefully the screen doesn't crease while you're doing that. It looks like it's got a Snapdragon 888 in it and 8 gigs of RAM. I mean, I would have liked to seen 16 gigs of RAM, but hey ho, or 12 gigs even. And it comes with 128 storage. I think it comes with a 250, I think it's 58 gigs as well, which is very, very cool indeed, and it's very surprising that it's priced at this. Now, apparently it has a bit of a stronger screen. It looks more durable looking at it, and it's got a 2-camera setup. I think it's got a 2 rear 12 megapixel snapper along with a 10 megapixel selfie camera, and it looks like you can actually, it's not hidden, and that yes, you can view your notifications on the little screen. It looks like it shows you the weather, which is very cool. I do like that, and the main reason why a lot of people may go for a Z Flip is because they just want a compact phone. They want something they can slip in their pocket and pretty much, create a small phone. Because phones are getting bigger. Phones are like some of them are up to nearly 7 inches. That's a big phone. That, especially some of the bigger, higher end Samsungs, like the Samsung Note series. They're very big phones, they're getting larger, and they're getting quite thicker now because of the amount of stuff that needs to be put into them. I remember the time when people, like manufacturers, wanted to make their phone quite thin, but now they just want to cram as much technology inside these things. I mean, if you take apart a Samsung S10 or something like that, or any series, like even an S9, you look at the motherboard and you're thinking, how the fuck does all of that stuff fit on just this slivery piece of motherboard? 8 gigs of RAM and all the storage. It's absolutely crazy how much stuff has changed within mobile phones, and now we are able to flip a screen without completely damaging it. And, I mean, obviously, there's some of these units that are probably going to be defective. We're probably going to see units of Z Flips on Twitter when they get launched, of people doing stupid things with them, breaking them and peeling off the screen protector. Hopefully Samsung has fixed the issue with the screen protectors and made them not easily peelable, because I knew that a lot of people peeled them straight off, which was pretty stupid. But then again, I do blame Samsung because, well, yeah, they didn't really make it clear. They should have put straight on, or they should have put like a sort of protective film saying, do not peel off this screen protector, warning them to not peel off that screen protector, because most people, they're just going to think it's a screen protector, because most phones these days come with a sort of protective film on them just to, protect them a little bit while they're being shipped and stuff like that, and give them a little extra protection on the screen. And a lot of people are just going to think, oh, that's the screen protector, peel it off, and then realize that they've actually completely fucked their screen up by just taking that off, and the screen will just go black, and like, when you drop your screen and it starts to bleed, that type of stuff. But I really do think this is going to, I don't think it's going to change the game of flip phones. Of course it isn't. Of course, a lot of people are still going to stick with their devices. I mean, this it may drop the price of the S21 series because I know a lot of people really want to still get that. So here are a little bit more specs of it. It's got a 6.7-inch screen. Oh yes, I was right. It comes in at 128 gigs and 156. I wasn't really right about that. 12 megapixel each for rear cameras. An IPX8 rating, 3000 milliamp hour, 3300 milliamp hour. Wireless charging. It does have fast charging. It does have operating system. It will launch with Android 11. It's 128 hertz. That's probably going to kill the battery a little quick. I do think they should have gone with the 4000 milliamp hour. That probably would have made the phone a little bit more unusable, but yeah, with that type of refresh rate, you might see some pretty low battery there. It's got 8 gigs of RAM. It comes in cream green, lavender, phantom black and grey, white and pink. So this hopefully will be able to launch. It says here on the 27th of August, which hopefully a lot of happy customers. Now, onto the Z Fold 3. Now, the Z Fold 3 has a very good purpose, and I actually like the Z Fold 3 just by looking at it. Obviously, the Z Fold 2. Now, I get it, the average person probably isn't going to want a Z Fold. They seem very sort of out there. You may as well, have a separate tablet. But it's good to know that you actually have a phone and a tablet all in one. However, when it comes to these, you really need quite a big battery. And a lot of these, I'd say max you'd need maybe a 6000 milliamp hour battery just to power that screen, because it could be a bit, especially you'll have to turn down the resolution if you are wanting to use the big screen constantly. But I can't see it as being a bad thing. It's just the only thing I wouldn't pick a Z Fold over a Z Flip is because the Z Fold, you have to unbook it or disconnect it. And it kind of looks a bit weird just having it like that in public. I mean, they're going to be looking over and you're like, what the fuck? Why is his phone 10 times the size as any phone that I've seen? I mean, I guess it makes you unique because you're probably going to be the only one in that room with a Z Fold 3. Now, the price is £15,099, £17.99. That is $1,799. Europe, it's 1,799 euros, and Australian, it's 2,499 dollars, Australian dollars, I guess that is. So yes, the Z Fold folds out to showcase a 7.6-inch screen. That is quite big. See what I mean? That's quite impressive, to be honest. 7.6-inch screen. That could get you some work done on it. But also, that's going to need a hefty battery to power that, especially at some resolution. I'm guessing that's going to be 120 hertz. I mean, it'd be pretty cool if it was 120 hertz. And also, it has oh yes, it does have 120 hertz AMOLED to screen. That may be a fallback. I don't really know the battery life first, but in-display camera, which gives you a full screen look. So I know a lot of people, I've seen some tech reviewers complaining about the camera. I'm not entirely sure what camera. Yeah, actually, I think it's a 2 megapixel. I could be wrong. But it has a very bad camera from some tech reviewers I've heard. But we'll get into that in a second. The Snapdragon 888, so it's got the exact same processor as the Z Flip. I think that's a new. I don't know if that's I don't really keep up with Snapdragon. I'm guessing it's going to be Exynos for Europe or the countries like that. 12 gigs of RAM, so you do get quite a premium package for the price you pay, and it comes with 256. I'm not sure if that's like the base storage, or is it gonna be a 500 gig, or is it gonna be 128 as well? But yeah, this is sort of the big version. I'd say the predecessor to the Z Flip. But yeah, it looks like a very good device. It looks very clean. It looks like it's got a fully functional display, like front display now. So it is great. So in theory, I think it's got about 3 displays on it. So it's got a lot to power. So this could be a kind of downside to having this phone. But then again, I don't know how people have really keyed onto it. But it looks like it looks a great device. In tablet form, you can say use it. The cool thing about it, you don't really have to go out and buy a tablet. You pretty much got a tablet day in, day out. So say if you're on the train or something like that, you can kind of watch, keep up with, say, Netflix or something. And also, I think you can have 2 apps open on it at once. So like if you had it in normal mode, you can put one. I think you can. I'm not entirely sure. It seems to be very good. Another issue, Samsung still doesn't appear to have a solution for is a noticeable crease running down the middle of the inner display. I guess that's kind of sort of accepted though, because don't forget, I think that crease is there for a reason, so the screen doesn't snap or break. I think it gives it more movability to move inwards. But yeah, it's a noticeable crease. It definitely looks noticeable. And it can be off-putting, I guess, to people like that. But as long as it doesn't affect, say, reading or affect screen, I mean, like reading text and, watching videos, it shouldn't be that bad. I think it's just purely when light hits it. But I think the reason why that crease is there, that crease could become a weakening point, but I think that crease is there purely because it needs to bend in, and I'm guessing it doesn't want to bend in on itself and then become, because I think as soon as the screen pinches, it's game over for that screen. So the Z Fold 3 is taking a place on the new Note device. Okay, so I'm guessing like a mid-range Note. Even though more people buy the mid-range Samsungs, because obviously I don't think a lot of people are going to be buying this, purely because it just seems like a lot of money, and a lot of people really don't want to be throwing in hella. I mean, this is normal for Apple users. We all know that. Apple users are willing to spend a absolute shell for a phone that's compatible for their needs. They don't really care about specs, whereas some Samsung users actually care about what they get. And this could be a serious upgrade for them, or it could be a serious upgrade for anyone, to be honest. But I don't see the average user actually wanting to use this. But it looks like it's compatible with the S Pen as well. I think both of them are compatible with the S Pen, which is very good. So here are some sort of specs on it. It is a 7.6-inch screen, like I said before, which is quite a big screen, to be honest. You can get a lot of stuff with that. Very big screen. I think the Z Flip one was only 6.7, I think. So you're gonna get a lot of real estate out of it. You're gonna get a lot of stuff on there. You can watch some good old Netflix and stuff like that. Storage, it comes with 256. One version, and the versions it comes with 256 and 512 gigabytes. That's a lot of storage. I'm guessing if you wanted this phone, I'd personally go for the 212. However, the price is probably going to be somewhere in the 2000 range for that. I'm guessing this supports 5G as well. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's got a rear camera. It's got 3 rear cameras. They're all 12 megapixel. The front camera, okay, I thought it was 2 megapixel. Front camera is 10 megapixel and 4 megapixel. Video recording, yes, you can do that. Obviously, it's got an IPX8 water rating. For 4,400 milliamp hour battery, so yes, it's got quite a big battery. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it will start eating that battery up quite a fair bit. We all know that Android isn't the friendliest when it comes to battery usage, but it also isn't the worst when it comes to battery usage. You can get, as long as you keep, I'd say keep power saving mode on. I always keep it on, even though I have the brightness kind of up. It does slow down, in my experience anyway, it slows down the battery dying as quick. Maybe it doesn't completely eliminate the fact that the battery goes down a little bit quicker, but, I've been able to get, 5 minutes, 10 minutes percent to last. So I guess it's kind of it. Size dimensions, 128.1 by 158.2 by 6.4 millimeters. Weight is 271 grams. It will be shipping with Android 11, and the release date is the 27th of August. The resolution is 2208 by 1768. So yeah, I think you will be able to switch the resolution as well. I know a lot of people will not really want to stick with the resolution. Then again, I don't know. I think most Samsungs give you the highest resolution out there. I'm not too sure, but yeah, 128 refresh rate, Snapdragon 888. The refresh rate is probably going to have a little bit tank on the battery. It's 12 gigs of RAM, so yes, it's definitely got more RAM. The only thing, I always see this pop up a lot, why does most Android devices have more RAM? And you'd kind of see Android uses quite a lot of RAM. I know on most phones, if you got a lot of apps open, it can use upwards of, near enough all your RAM on your phone, and that's probably why it slows down. I think I've got an S10 Plus, and I think I use around about 5 gigs of RAM, on average, and it's got 8 gigs of RAM in it. 5 gigs of RAM just by leaving apps open. I mean, it doesn't really slow it down. I haven't really seen any any sluggishness, but it's quite a shocker that it uses that much. Then again, iPhones have very little RAM, but then again, if you take a look, their software can sort of optimize apps better and stuff like that. But Android is still a very good software. It's not bad, and it comes in Phantom Black, Phantom Green, and Phantom Silver, and I think both of these will be 5G. The Z Flip 3 and the Galaxy Fold 3 will support 5G connectivity. And I think both the Galaxy Fold 3 supports the S Pen, the Samsung S Pen. Now, apparently they're going to be giving them free with for a limited time only. With people who buy them, or I'm guessing pre-order, or buy them within the first month of them being out or something like that. It is water resistant, up to IPX8 water resistant. So yeah, don't exactly be putting it underwater. I wouldn't recommend it. This means it can survive short submergence and depth up to 1 meter. However, I don't think it's recommended to do that purely because, it has moving parts, and many of them moving parts may be clogged if water decides to corrode anything inside, and we all know electric and water doesn't really mix, especially motherboards and circuit boards don't really mix. Corrosion will happen and will ruin your phone. Anyway, thank you for listening. Hopefully, if you do get the new phone, hopefully you don't suffer any bad screens or that. And remember, do not peel off that screen protector, because it isn't a screen protector.